welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Right now, we're moving to the interview segment, and I have in the studio a guest in person of Oladapo Okunmuyide. He is a personal development coach, and he will be speaking on youth skill development, what we need to know about skill development, especially youth, unveiling the benefits and the opportunities associated with skill development. It's nice to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you very much.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
You're looking great.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So let's start with what is skill development?
Yeah, skill development is about recognizing what you have and developing it to what is required, particularly to the standard that is required for personal freedom.
All right, now I'm not quite comfortable with the concept youth development. Should it be youth development or development in general, taking into cognizance the fact that development itself should start from a tender age?
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, I'm talking about youth right now because I believe that before you get to particularly what happening in our nation today, we have the number of youths we have in this country, it's overwhelming, and we find out that a lot of people are not doing enough. Okay, so that's what we want to talk about, youth at this moment. And again, I agree with you that whatever you want to become at 21, we should know from 5. Okay, so a lot of people miss that early years, the development they need to do at that early years. And I actually feel that we should talk about that, because before you become a youth, you're a child. And what has happened to you between 5 and 13 is actually the basis of what's going to happen to you in the future. Okay, because by the time you are 13 years old, a lot of things have been molded in your life, your lifestyle, your skill, and what you're going to develop is already there. Okay, now it now depends on, have you found it or have you developed it? A lot of people have found it, but they've not developed it. And that's what we talk about as youth at the level of youth.
Before we go into that, you made mention of developing skill from 5 to 13. Now, we are now speaking about youth in this regard. Is it because I've been hearing a lot of talks, seminars on youth development, must it be when you become a youth that you need to develop your skill or discover your skill? Because I've learned children now, even from 2-3 years, they started learning skills. So should it be youth alone where you get to that age of youth? Should we say 18 and above before you start acquiring skills for yourself?
No, we shouldn't wait till then. I always tell, for me as a musician, I tell people the best way to start to develop a man is to start at a tender age. Okay, whatever skill they want to learn, they must start from that tender age, because it becomes part of their life already from the beginning. You're talking about Nigerian youth today, very sad that a lot of them, by the time they get to 18, what they look out for is to get how to get money.
Sure.
Okay, they don't want to develop themselves again. Maybe that's the other side of this topic. However, we must know that even if you are 18, you are 21, you are 25, you are 35, it's still not too late for you to develop the skill you've got. Okay.
Apparently, if you look at the Nigerian society, you discover that a lot of young Nigerian youths are blessed with talent, creativity. Like you said, most of them at the end of the day end up chasing money rather than developing such skills and talent. Now, from your experience so far in the past years, what are the steps to developing oneself?
To develop yourself, I always say first thing is that, what do you love to do? What's your passion? I was saying earlier that for me, my passion, or what I love to do, or what you call hobby, and my job, and what gives me food, everything is one. So even while I'm sure maybe some of you found yourself here working in TV, you love talking, you love what you do. So for you, if they wake you up to come and work, you are not going to grumble, because this is part of you, this is you.
What you have passion for.
You have what you have passion for. It helps you to grow yourself, and you know what you're doing. A lot of us, let me give you these common examples. You've seen a lot of people study medicine because their parents want them to study medicine. And you found out that this guy from age 5 is been drawing. He's been a fantastic artist. He's been a painter. But because the father who is enlightened does not want a child to be an artist, you have to study medicine. And I have seen a number of friends that after the medicine, after whatever, they bring the certificate, that thank you for taking it to
and
school.
they'll still go back
To what they want to do.
Passion. Yeah.
Okay, you now begin to find out that the first thing is discover yourself. What do you want? What kind of lifestyle do you want for yourself? We should, unfortunately, in this country today, money is made number one. Money is not the number one. Money is, I always don't talk about money when I talk about things like this. It will give you money eventually. Yeah. But when you have money and you don't have peace, you are not fulfilled. Find out that you're supposed to touch 20 lives. You've only touched one because you think it's all about
touching none.
Well, so we need to first, which is very critical, what do you want to become? What I give you an example. My son, who's just about 9 years old, getting here, he told me, Dad, do you know any publisher? And I said, what do you want to do? He said, I want to write novels.
Wow.
Oh, okay, fantastic. You don't need the publisher yet. Give me the books. Don't worry, we'll publish for you. Okay? He has discovered something about himself. Yeah. And you know what? Getting to the studio, he picked pen and book and he's writing something. Yeah. Okay, if that is what he has passion for, let him develop it. Then work with him. Okay, maybe now we have to talk about being a child now. Work with him step by step. Does he have passion for it? Create classes for it, for him or for her. And that, for example, this summer holidays, it's not about school, maths, English and stuff like that. Create classes towards that area, that skill area, and let him work. Okay, and again, we're enjoying this nation that we believe in white-collar jobs.
Yeah, which is not readily available.
It's not available. You see, of course, my Baba is a graduate, and you wonder, and he makes more money than a banker. So, because you're a Baba does not make you a less Nigerian. Yeah. So, all these little skills we need to begin to develop ourselves, help the growth of young people. That's all I want to say for now.
All right, okay. Before you take your question, if you look at the current situation in the country, you discover that, like my friend will already describe the banditry and the negotiation of bandits, he said that the government of the day have made kidnapping a lucrative business, that people find it suitable to venture into it. Why other skills in the society that ought to receive a level of attention are not being given such attention? Do you think this has in a way hindered youths into venturing into something reasonable, something worthwhile to develop themselves?
Yes, absolutely. I must say that. For example, let me just give you another example similar to yours. We talked about a lot of people doing Yahoo, whatever. If you see somebody that does Yahoo, I've not gone through it actually, but some people have told me the rigorous work they had to do. Somebody like that, if you channel that idea into ICT, you're going to get the best from him. But Nigeria, we always look for shortcuts. Like those banditry, there are other things you can use them for. Yeah. It's just that we already in the corner now. It's very difficult now to get them out of what they are. Naturally, young people have a lot to give in their imagination, what they want the nation to become. And if you don't give them, that's when they get frustrated and they go into kidnapping and other things. It tells you that, okay, for somebody that kidnaps a man and 10 days, it has been difficult for police to locate that person, even though I don't want to talk about police now. Yeah. Okay, that means that person is highly intelligent to hide the person kidnapped for 10 days. There are other skills related to that. I don't want to talk about that now because I don't want you to see that I'm supporting those guys. But the fact is that we need to harness the best of our young people today. You need to look at statistics. 80% of Nigerians are 50 years lower. Yeah. So what do we have to offer them? If we don't do something now, the next 10 years is going to be dangerous. Next 20 years, by the time those people will be the age, or my age bracket too, and maybe yours, By the time in the next 20 years, we become 70, 80 years old, there's going to be trouble in this nation. So we need to really create a lot of opportunities for development of the skill. Skill in ICT, skill in music, skill in design, skill, even what you do here. I don't know why we're not manufactured. I'm sure your cameras here are not manufactured in Nigeria. Why not? Why not? Those are questions we need to ask ourselves, not just the government, ourselves.
All right, thank you so much for that. Let's come back to self-discovery now, because I believe that for you to develop a skill, you must have discovered that you have the skill. There are some youths now, even at 21, 22, they do not know that, they do not know what skill they have. They do not know what they even have passion for. If you ask a youth, like someone I asked recently, that what do you even have passion for while waiting for admission? So what do you really have passion for? Said, I don't know. How can someone actually discover him or herself, like self-discovery? I want you to tell us the process of how you can discover that potential that you have.
One of the first steps is, what do you do happily without the grumbling? When they wake you up, come and cook. You just go and cook. You don't think about it. You don't look at it as a big job. Okay? Again, what do people say you're good at? Listen to people. A lot of us don't give enough time to get feedbacks from people. Listen to people. What have they told you about? Okay? Then what are the other things that people complain about? For example, if people complain that you talk too much, it shows something that probably talking is part of what you do. Okay? Then look at your environment. Who are the kind of people you work with? For example, if I get here now and only 2 people in the studio right now, and the next 10 minutes I have 10 more people. And what happens in 10 minutes? You'll be laughing. And who is the person making you laugh? Myself. Okay, that shows that there's something about me. I need to package it and bring my. Those are little steps you can begin to bring out. Okay, then there is an area people don't. I don't totally believe, but whether we like it or not, it's part of life. There is this part of the gene or family. What came from your family, or what your parents or your grandparents were doing, or what they did well. It's not just because it's part of your gene, but because you grew up to seeing them. Okay. Can I give my personal example?
Yeah, you can.
My grandfather was a clergyman, and he was a church organist. Okay. My father was a church organist. Okay. I'm a church organist. Okay. It's not just because I have passion for it, but this is what I grew up to see my dad do. And my son, that's what he has grown up to see me do, and he's already playing the piano. Okay. Even from age 5, 6, because those are areas we can begin to look around to discover yourself.
All right, now talking about self-discovery, what about self-actualization?
Now that's another step. I don't know, I don't want to go into theory, but actualization is when you have fully used that skill or that thing you've discovered about yourself. Now we're talking about skill. For example, when you found yourself that I just like music, for some of us, if there is a jazz band behind there, probably for me, just like something is playing. For you, you'll be tapping your legs. For you, you didn't even hear anything. You're just walking. Okay, you see, we are 3 different people. The first point is that for me, I just know there's music playing. You didn't even notice anything. You're tapping your legs. It shows that you have interest in it. Okay, that's the beginning. But after some time, you join them to sing, to play. With time, you become a jazz person, and you find out that that's your life. Then you have actualized that dream. That's the level we're talking about.
All right. Now, looking at the scenario you just gave, talking about actualization, I talked about career choice and unemployment, I think some weeks back. people have talents like we talked about, but at the end of the day, some of these talents are not being incorporated into the school system, which would have given a kind of a leverage, an opportunity for you to develop it. Do you see it as a problem?
Yes, it is a problem. But it's a problem. But I will look at the other side.
Yeah.
The school system, for me, the school system, particularly in this part of the world, is not what it should be. The school system is too academic. Yeah. And you see somebody
it's not practical enough to reflect the society.
When you are in school and they say music, they take music, they say you have to be in a music club to study music in primary, secondary school. It's wrong. Okay, it should be part of the courses. Curriculum. Okay, part of what curriculum. So a number of the subjects you do in the school system are not the real thing that we need in future. I give you an example. And there is one unique thing about me. My first degree, I did OND in animal health. Okay. My first degree and my second degree in animal science. Okay. It was when I was running my master's, I discovered that why am I even in this agriculture? That is not me. Okay. I had to leave. I went to study music in the university. Okay. Now with master's degree. Now, I hope you can be edited. Now, my point. Yeah. Found out that even with music, found out that nobody ever told me in the course of my life that I should follow that passion of my life. Yeah. Okay. All I wanted is, even at the beginning, I wanted to be an engineer. Those are things people recognize. Those are
because society makes it seem so that if you don't do these courses that are clear professional courses, you can't build in life.
No, that's actually the fault of the educational system we have. You don't even have to have a degree to work. But Nigeria, they want your first degree, and they want your first degree, you have to be 24 years old. Yeah. And after you are 26 years old, they say you cannot take you. Now, that's why we have a problem of unemployment today. Yeah.
And they'll be acting of experiences, like 10 years experience.
And you wonder, how am I going to get experience with this my young age? So the problem we have now is that our school system should be set in a way that we will be able to do whatever we want to do, concentrate on it, and finish up. Okay, if I want to do music, let me recognize music, arts, other things from my young age. Don't let me force myself into science, to physics, chemistry, biology. I wonder why. In fact, these days I still, of course, I have no regrets. I still wonder, how did I cope with, I loved sciences. Those long years, why? Why was I in that system? And nobody ever felt, in fact, my secondary school platform, we still discuss, a lot of us that studied, some people studied agriculture, they are now they're doing other things. Some people, I have somebody that is a medical doctor and is into, what do you fashion dressing and stuff like that. Of course, it makes a lot of sense. You see your fashion designer, you see the card, and you see Dr. Tosin. You know how interesting it is. Yes, but imagine if that person has followed what they wanted to do
from the earlier stage.
Yes.
Nobody is talking about fashion today in school. Nobody. Yes, you can learn it at every point. That's why I feel that our educational system and structure is faulty.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, like what you said about someone who actually has a passion for something, like let's take for instance fashion. And should we say that before you get into tertiary, you need to first discover your purpose or your skill or your passion, so that you go to school to study what is in line with your passion, then afterwards you can now go further to upgrade the skill? Because we've seen cases of, take for instance, a popular musician, Falz, the bad guy. He is a lawyer, and he is it's like, I don't even think he's practicing that now, but he's known to be a successful musician. Looking at that. Oh, so now, will you say that it is necessary for you to discover your purpose before going to the tertiary, so that you study something like, let's say I have passion for music, go to school, study music. So when you graduate, like 4 years after, you become great already, then upgrading yourself will just be easy, and it will be that you are now a professional. So will you say that it is before you get to your tertiary that you need to discover yourself, or after graduation?
Unfortunately, no. It's not something that you can determine. Yeah. For everybody. Okay. It will be beautiful if you can discover yourself early. It will be very beautiful, but it's not practicable. Okay. Some of us have been told that you'll be a musician, but we never agree. Okay, until later we feel that, wow, this is the right way to follow. Okay, so that's why I said it could be nice if all of us can, but I must tell you that 70% of people will not. Okay, so that's the first thing. Using the example of Files and some other people, in this environment, we're talking about what is ideal and what versus what we see presently. Yeah. Okay. So what you see presently, particularly in our nation, is that I always tell people that whatever it is, get a degree. Even if your degree
in any field.
Because if, particularly for somebody that may not be able to discover himself early in life, get a degree. As you move on, you streamline your degree with what you want to become. Because what goes into being a degree, particularly in university or institution in Nigeria, or around the world, is beyond what you went to study. Yeah. It's about you, about the usual they say you pass through the university and let the university pass through you. Okay, so it's beyond that. So what you learn people, you learn teamwork, you learn a lot of other things outside your course. Yeah, you want to study. So that's part. So even if you study Yoruba, you might end up being
a banker.
A banker. Oh, for example, I'm sure you're proud of it now. The news around the last few weeks, you had about 6 banks, the MDs.
Yes, they are all females.
Did you read about them? About 4 of them didn't study anything related to
banking,
to accounting, to
that was even pharmacy also.
Yes. Okay, so it shows that you can become anything.
Regardless
and you can
of
discover yourself anytime.
All right. Now, as we begin to wrap up, looking at the issues we've raised so far and the level of should I call it youth decadence or moral decadence in the society as a result of youth not being able to discover and develop themselves. How do you think self-discovery, how do you think self-development will help reduce the level of unemployment we have in the society?
It will, definitely, because an idle hand is the devil's workshop. If you understand what you have, what you are, you will be busy doing your work. You won't think about other people who are into crime. One of the first things I tell people is that make sure, no matter how, get a job. Even if it's going to earn you 1 kobo, please get a job and be busy at that thing. Because that's actually the problem. A lot of people causing troubles in this nation are jobless and not ready to do any other job. So I will want to just affirm what you said and say that please, for everyone or whatever the government can do, no matter how small, get everybody employed. It could be underemployment, I agree, but please get everybody to do something no matter how small.
A very big thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
The segment was quite expository. Possible issues discussed.
Thank you.
All right, hope to have you some other time like always.
Yes, I'll be glad to be here.
All right, so this is what we call it a wrap on the interview segment. We'll just take a very quick break and we'll come back. The show continues.